so it's about 11:30 and Christy dropped me off here at the parking lot to start the hike of the Dry Creek Trail around Lake Sonoma in Northern California. It's beautiful territory around here, way up in the mountains. And the idea with this one is not to do a long hike, but to check out some equipment and see how the ultralight equipment will work overnight. I'm headed to a campground that is a boat-in campground, so you can't drive to it. You have to hike in or boat in. And it doesn't look like I have much competition this weekend. There's just a few cars in the parking lot here hiking. And we'll start on this trail. Forest of madrone trees. And these laurel trees are all along the trail too, and they smell so good. Slightly astringent, very clean, very nice. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of fir. There's a manzanita up there. We've got the laurel, the madrone. And then of course there are live oaks in here too. But really interesting flora. And there's a live oak there. We've gotten into some hemlock forest. It's just beautiful. I just love how the flora keeps changing with the terrain and the altitude. Beautiful. Been hiking about an hour and found this nice little spot to cook up some lunch and enjoy this beautiful forest. So there's an archery range up here, and they have caution signs. You can see part of the infrastructure down in the clearing there. We'll see what we see, and look out for arrows. Okay, we've made it to the top where the archery range starts, and this is the Oak Knoll Trail, which now we're gonna split off and take next to this big live oak. And to file for future reference tomorrow morning, there's a trailhead with porta-johns up there. So we'll make use of that. All right, here we go. So as you've probably noticed from other shots, it's smoky today. It looks like not quite as bad as when I hiked in Idaho in a big fire, but you can taste it a little on the air. Well, hopefully in the morning it'll be a little clearer and we can get some nicer shots of these mountains. Right now, pretty hazy. So just saw a big buck cross the road and run down the hill, and just as I was getting my camera out, a border collie crossed the road after him, got confused for a minute, and then found the scent and followed him down the mountain. So, okay. I don't know who the dog belongs to. We've been heading down the mountain on this dirt road for quite a while, which means tomorrow morning we'll have a climb to keep us warm. And now we're joining up with the Huff and Puff Trail, which heads up that way. I imagine it's called Huff and Puff because you're gaining altitude. It's a lovely little single track trail. Very nice. I always look forward to this kind of trail when I hike. Makes you feel like you're not surrounded by civilization and a bunch of other people. We'll just see tonight how many co-campers I have that boat in. I don't think there are going to be many that hike in. And this is the big trail washout I remember from 2 years ago. Looks like it's roughly in the same condition, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, after quite a climb, I've come to the top of this little rise. I'm sure there's more up and down to come, but you can see the lake and the mountains. Again, it's smoky, but maybe tomorrow morning we'll get some clear shots. It's beautiful. Now we're on, looks like it used to be a paved road, and somebody's windmill back here to run a pump. Well, it looks like some predator has been successful here. It's like a deer bone. I'm sure there are mountain lions up here hunting the mini deer I've been seeing today. And I can see the campground over there. I'll gotta do is wind around through this little draw, end up there. Lake looks a little lower, probably maybe 10 feet lower than last time I was here, but made it in about 3 hours. So that includes stopping to cook lunch. So pretty short hike, but that's okay because the terrain was fiercely up and down. There really wasn't any flat spots, and that'll mean it's going to be easy enough for me to get back up to the trailhead where Christy dropped me off by 11 while really taking my time in camp. So looking forward to it. So this campground has corrals for people who want to horseback in. And I saw a lot of manure on the trail, so I'm going to guess that some did that. We've got picnic tables, some fire pits, some rodent hang bars, and some trash cans that would be pretty easy for a bear to open. So I'm going to guess they don't have a bear problem here, which is good. And then over here, they have a couple more campsites I know that are more out on the point. But nice bench here. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Well, the Serenity shuttle has landed, and we've been set up here for quite a while. Had a few snacks. Kind of sorted out how to set up and organize the Z-Packs Altiplex tent. That's a 1-pound Dyneema tent that I'm going to start using to save some weight as I get ready for the Arizona Trail. The backpack I'm using right now, you can see is hanging there, is a Mountain Laurel Designs Prophet. It's a frameless pack. It's a good pack, but if it gets up around 25 pounds, you start noticing it. So I have a Waymark through 40, and they just started recently putting aluminum bar frames in those. So that should be able to carry a little more weight comfortably if I have to, for long water carries, etc. in the desert. So I got that all set up, and the only real problem with Dyneema tents or single wall tents is that you get condensation when it's humid. So you try to stay under tree cover like this, away from water reasonably, and then leave those netting doors open. Don't put the rain flies down if it's not raining, and that helps clear the condensation. Yeah, so you got a really nice campground here with the corrals. I'm up at Falcon's Nest on Lake Sonoma, and got to practice a couple other things I haven't practiced in a while, which is I actually got to do a bear hang. You can see it back there behind the corral, the blue bag hanging off the tree. So I'm going to start getting used to doing that when there are trees. There's not a lot of room inside that little tent for anything except me, so I try to put everything I can on the backpack outside and just hang that with a carabiner from my tracking pole, and that works out pretty well. So it was a long walk down to water. I had to get water from the lake, and it's considerably down, so you're crossing probably 25 strand lines from former lake levels, and you finally get down to the water, and then you got to stand in mud to get it. So it's generally unpleasant. And however, I did take advantage of the fact that it's afternoon and it's warm, so I went ahead and got 4 liters down there, which means I'll have enough for overnight and then in the morning, so I don't have to go walk down there in the morning when I'm grumpy and cold and my hands freeze and all that stuff. So 4 liters ought to get us overnight, and then back to Christy tomorrow. So thanks for hiking with me as we try out this new equipment, and I'll give you a verdict in the morning. Okay, it's 10 till 8 in the morning, and getting ready to head back the 3 hours to parking lot to meet Christy. So the Altiplex tent was really small to get used to after being in the Nemo Hornet 2 person. Used the poncho as a ground sheet, and that worked really well. So I can save some weight there using the ground sheet, using the poncho as a ground sheet and rain gear, because it goes on quick and goes on over the pack, so you don't need a pack cover. Yeah, pretty uneventful night. Just long, and I got the flattest campsite I could, but it still wasn't flat. So there were some struggles in the evening, rolling on and off. So now we'll take our trip back. You got to see a wonderful, beautiful sunrise this morning, and as we're going back the other way in this light, we'll see if we can find you some nice things to see. Okay, just came up the really steep switchback climb up out of the campground, and up at the top of the ridge at the windmill, and then we should get some beautiful scenery and a little downhill until we hit the dirt road and start climbing again. .42, and we're saying goodbye to the Huff and Puff Trail. Pretty sure whoever named that hiked out of it rather than into it, because lordy, there's some long climbs in there. Okay, now we'll get back on the Oak Knoll Trail and hike back up this road and get to the archery range. And we've made it back to the Oak Knoll Trail cutoff. So, this way to the archery range. You can tell by looking at the terrain around here, there just aren't any flat spots. It's all up and down. So we just stopped at the archery range on a little bench there and had a snack and some water. And I wanted to take an opportunity to talk about the birds last night. It was crazy. Once the sun got close to going down from like dusk to complete darkness, we had woodpeckers, herons, ospreys, whippoorwills, a few I could not identify. I don't know what they were. And most of all, a flock of about 30 doves or pigeons that came in there, and they're all loud, awkward flyers that fly into branches and knock things off. And for the 30 minutes they were there, it was mayhem. So I was glad they kind of settled down or moved on one or the other. But it's beautiful today. Should be able to make it on schedule back to Christy at the parking lot, and in the meantime, we'll enjoy all these beautiful trees. made it to the parking lot about 10:30. So 30 minutes ahead of schedule. I'm just gonna sit here and catch up on my water and have another snack. Kirsty's gonna bring me some coffee because I forgot to pack that. Oh, so sad. Great hike, a lot of elevation up and down. So good training, but I can tell I need to get back in shape. Great hike. Thanks for coming with me. We saw some beautiful things. And remember, we're doing the impossible. That makes us mighty.